We do inspire each other, and that's how things are created and how they come to life. And it's how I feel that I am created. I cannot work in total isolation. I mean, I need space to think or to feel or to elaborate something and to understand something. But I often I use people's ideas and views and feelings, and I love that. Collectively or historically or no matter what, we all do influence each other. There is no hasard, il n'y a pas de hasard. Or le hasard fait bien les choses. I dreamed a lot about this piece in different way and got different answers to my question through dreams as well, and it was really neat to process that and to every turn found a way. When I say we all inspire each other, we do all inspire each other, regardless of what we do. Every piece of art is the combination of all this energy collected and collectively coming alive. The other day someone said, an artist cannot just be, by itself. They needed to talk with other artists. And really, frankly, I don't just talk to artists, I talk to everybody. I worked it from a photo of Gabrielle Roth. I did a lot of preliminary drawing for this piece. I was really fascinated by the strong grounding, that sort of very beautiful vertical line between the earth and sky, that impermanent physicality and that eternal presence. You give something to 10 people and they come out with 10 different things. I work often with my daughter or my partner or with some friend, and we have so different process, and yet we can come together. It's fascinating. There is no risk, if you follow your art, if you get into the spirit of art, there is no chance that things will be the same. That's the beauty. It's like all this facet, all this many individual way to see things, and yet there is some kind of a wave of spirit or of love or whatever, of divine energy that can be all felt. So a lot of dance went, and it was some surrendering and some resistance, like I say at first, and then eventually more and more surrendering and more surprise. And it's what I'm looking for, when I can embrace all the physical art form that I've studied or that I have practiced rather over the years, like so dance, mime, theater, etc. And the visual, how can that be together? I have a memory of painting all those tiny pieces. I made them from scratch, from clay, so I remember them in a clay state, then fired as a bisque. I looked at them and they intrigued me and fascinated me, and then I painted them. 5 layers of paint went on them, or at least 3 layers of color glaze, and then the 2 transparent. And then I put them on the wall with all my love and care and attention. I was looking at observing and maybe document the impact, physical reaction, or how people will respond physically to this show. And that was my goal, really, to see how that would do and how the space was responding to my vision, or me to the space, how I could work around the space, and how I could respond physically to this space. And now in return, people will respond to the art in the space and the space.
Thank you. Thank you for my pieces. I love them.
I'm always drawn between that concept of destiny versus a more abstract sense of life as it unfolds and wants to be, which probably is the same at the end anyway. But there are people, there are spirits in my life that are with me all the time, and some people call it angels, experience, life experience, whatever it is. And this piece is one of this. I'm a fighter. I'm a resistant at heart. I'm French after all, and so there is definitely some, like, who are you? What are you? What do you want? No, yes, I'm scared. All that stuff, of course. This show in particular had a very strong will. I wanted to show that it is part of life, not dissociated. It's not just, a little flash mob was created, a whole bunch of stuff, and people will talk about it, and I'm interested in that. How does it get carried on? How is it going to be reinterpreted, reused, recycled? The piece itself, the spirit itself, how it's going to manifest again and again and again. And that, for me, is the beauty of that eternal dance, right? Everybody has a capability of liking something or not, having opinion on something, having a feeling about something. And I get so much wisdom or help and support from tons of people. Often before a show, I really need I ask people to lend me their sight, to lend me their vision, to help me, to lend me their eyes, actually. And sometimes people articulate things that I know in my guts or in my heart, but I cannot put in words. The whole show was about the life of the show itself, and how those pieces all together did interact. How people, how the viewer, how the space, first of all, because the show was created for the space. How all that came to life when we were putting the piece down. My friend Val cut herself, and blood came to on the wall and on the piece, and I thought and she was a bit embarrassed and went to wash the blood right away, and I by the time I realized that what was happening, I would have loved to keep that a bit longer, and I think I want to say that every piece of my heart has it's probably why I'm so fascinated with blood, has blood on it, no matter what. Has many tears too, but has definitely has blood. Every piece I can think of. It's really neat. And this show was definitely more bloody than usual. In the process of making art, there is so many things that happen, so many relationships that are created, with medium people. So obviously a piece is not some kind of idea. To me, it's not just a concept, and you go and you fabricate the concept, and voila, it's a dead thing, a sure thing. It's not. It's never a sure thing. So I like to see it as a miracle. I think a piece of art has a mind of its own. I think every object has a mind of its own. And I can gravitate or respond to that energy, but in an installation process, it's even more more obvious. The piece was telling me I'm not here to be venerated in a sense of, I'm not the high priestess. I am dance, and you are dance, and I kept wanting, tell me, show me, and it was still, kicking my ass, saying, no, I'm with you, but I'm not with you. You're on your own. Although it's been taken off the wall, this piece is still living in me. I see in my crystal ball the new path in which this piece is going to move on. I have this vision or this image of no longer standing on this piece in that case this installation was supported against the wall with that sense of being sort of scattered and free on the wall. But I think from the piece left over, I will create something more etherical, more sculpture-like, and more freestanding to a degree, or standing from the ceiling, or some. And actually, that's what I see, something almost like a rain or something suspended, even more than it because it's what I try to create on the wall, but now I want, without the support of the wall, create that also, that sort of even like a 3D space basically with it, and giving even more lightness and more ephemeric quality to it. And this is in me. This is what that piece created in me. That's my response to it, and I don't think it's not an intellectual response. It's a felt sense of where this piece is calling me to go. It was a piece about dancing together, not depending on, or it was actually holding my space, and the piece held its space, and that was a great part of it. It was no yelling, and sometimes it was some yelling. Very interesting dance we had together. That's why it's a constant flow of activity or energy, just passing from one person to another, from one thing to another, from one thing to one person or a group, and that constant movement and recycling or reusing of ideas and emotion or thought process. It's that continuous aliveness, and to me that's how the creative process works.